Joining us now is Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser. He is just the latest to join that lawsuit against the buyouts for federal employees. He's also a Democratic candidate for governor in Colorado in 2026. First of all, hello, and thank you for being with us. Say hello to my family there in Colorado. That's my home state. I know just today, Attorney General, Colorado joined another lawsuit filed in Massachusetts, and so now you're among 22 attorneys general suing the Trump administration for defunding medical and public health innovation research. Again, that's just the very latest, and we just ticked through all kinds of lawsuits that are pouring in by attorneys general like yourself. How are you picking which actions to challenge right now?
Ana, this is an important point. I often use the metaphor finding the signal through the noise. There's a lot of noise happening, and our job is to stay focused and ask crucial questions. Which actions are causing real harm? Which actions are illegal? Some actions that are being discussed, ending producing the penny, have been bipartisan proposals that aren't necessarily going to generate lawsuits. But other actions like cutting biomedical research that we depend on happening literally over a weekend with no notice, with no reflection, and with no justification, that's going to harm research here in Colorado to critical diseases and the innovation that we depend on. We're going to challenge that in court, and we're going to defend the rule of law.
Trump, of course, is known to appeal. Do you expect any lawsuit that you bring up to end at the Supreme Court?
We've been through this before in the first Trump administration. We had cases, for example, involving the census, where there was an effort to intimidate families with immigrants. We had a case involving the Dreamers. They went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in our favor against the Trump administration. We're well aware that could happen again, whether it's the birthright citizenship case or one of the other cases that we're bringing. We're going to make sure we defend our states, defend the rule of law, and if that means all the way to the Supreme Court, so be it.
I mean, when you talk about the Supreme Court, it has changed since some of those other earlier cases you mentioned during the first Trump administration. This is the same Supreme Court that gave President Trump broad immunity when it comes to actions he takes in office. And we heard from the president and vice president in an earlier segment today challenging the authority of the court. So just how confident are you that judges will look at these cases without fear or favor, especially given the reactions that are coming out now from the White House?
The initial results that are in, 3 cases we've brought making clear the law was violated. In 3 cases, judges have entered orders saying the law was violated. I remain a believer in the rule of law. I recognize that in politics, people can say whatever they want and they can intimidate others. But in a court of law, evidence is considered under oath. Legal standards are evaluated rigorously, and judges are ruling on the merits. So it's critical we preserve that foundation of our democratic republic. And as Colorado's Attorney General, that is my focus and will continue to be what I'm working hard on, even during these challenging times.
Have you thought about what happens if the administration defies these rulings? Then what?
I'd offer 3 points, Ana, that are likely to come in that scenario. First, any official who thinks it's a good idea to disregard what a court orders might look at the story of Rudy Giuliani, who has lost his law license, has lost all his possessions, and whose actions that sacrificed his integrity came at now great personal cost. It will not be costless for people who decide to disregard the rule of law. Number 2, for Republicans in Congress who are asking the question, when might they act as a check on the executive branch, this will be a do-or-die moment. We only have a republic, as Ben Franklin said when he left the Constitutional Convention, if we can keep it. The way we keep a republic is being a nation under laws, living under the rule of law, not the rule of whim of whoever the president is saying the law doesn't apply. And then finally, the American people believe in a constitutional republic. And the American people and we the people's voice will need to be heard. We are aware of this moment you're warning could happen. We've not seen it for 200 or so years. When Harry Truman was told you can't seize the steel mills by the Supreme Court, he complied. That's what this president needs to do as well.
Attorney General Weiser, what is your message to the American people who actually don't mind what Musk and President Trump are doing right now?
My message is, if we give up the rule of law, and if presidents can operate outside the law without a legal justification, then we lose being a democratic republic. It is important that what happens, and there are lots of good ideas that might be out there, but they've got to happen the right way. This latest issue where we're suing cuts to medical funding, it's because it happened the wrong way. The idea that our Constitution commits to is an idea of due process of law, that everyone has a chance to be heard from before decisions affecting them are made. That's about basic fairness. I want to make sure our government remains a government of laws and that we operate in a fair way. To be sure, the executive branch may have lots of great initiatives. They just got to do them the right way.
Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, thank you very much for being with us.